Hello everybody, Tony Bruno Productions here, and here are my lines for Dylan Productions, because I've got a lot of lines and I need to get them done, because otherwise I'm not going to be happy. You're all scared of that old story. I've heard worse. Oh, is the story about the rain or even a lumberjack? Well, what did the man say? Tell who what? Well, go on, spill it out. Okay, you guys are starting to creep me out. Yeah, it was only 10 minutes ago. You're telling me an engine killed his passengers. Henry, how the hell do you know this? Oh, Henry, if you're trying to scare me, you'd better try better than that. I think an engine held that number, but there was no engine that held or had that number from what I recall. Getting what all you guys have been telling me is these stupid questions. What? So those weren't dreams after all. I've been having these dreams of engines I haven't seen before. Tell me, does the name Albert mean anything to you? Do you think an engine really did kill those engines and passengers? Or were they really just accidents? I have a story to tell. Edward, do you think they're ready? God, do you think they're ready? Okay, here's the story. A long time ago, on an island far, far away, there were 3 trial engines named Noah, Sebastian, and the other didn't have a name. The other engines just called them 86573, even though the other engines knew when to stop messing around. 86573 took things to the next level. He would always yell at the engine who misplaced coaches or trucks. One day, he took it way too far. One day, an engine was placed on a siding, while his crew talked to a signalman. Then the purple tank engine heard the sound of trucks rattling. Then the trucks bumped into the tank engine. Then he screamed before he fell into the water. They tried to save him, but they couldn't. They didn't know who did it. An engine saw 86573 leave the harbour in a hurry. Later, the other 2 trial engines were talking to the nameless engine. The engine chuckled. The engines were in shock on what odd he just said, and the engine chuffed away, still laughing. Later, the engines told the conductor who caused the engine to fall in the water, but he didn't believe them. But an engine overheard them telling the conductor everything. Later, the engines were talking. Then they heard the whistle of the nameless engine. They saw him running through with them a line of fuel tankers. The engines whistled for help. They closed their eyes, waiting for their fate, and then a signalman changed points just in time, sending the engine onto a siding. Then the 2 engines heard a loud explosion. The oldest engine rushed into the station with the conductor. They saw a little engine crushed into tiny pieces. Surprisingly, the nameless engine survived the explosion, but he was sent away. The night he was going to be sent away, he was tasked to take a passenger train. The other engines were glad to see him go away. After this run, the conductor blew his whistle, and he set off. Later, they approached the station. The engine started going faster and faster. Then he flew by the station. The passengers started screaming in fear. Then before they fell off the bridge, the engine said something, and in a demonic voice. And he said, after that, I plunged into the ravine. Some say he was possessed. Others say he did it on purpose. There were only a few survivors. I interviewed the man. Well, it isn't clear on what he said. Oh, of course not, Percy. It's just a made-up story. You guys do think we should tell him? Thomas, do you remember when I told Percy that story was made up? Well, you see, I sort of lied. Thomas, that part was the only thing I lied about. I also lied about where it took place. It didn't take place on an old island far away. It happened here. Thomas, you were the first engine to help build the railway. We managed to get you the parts you needed to be rebuilt by the time they finished me, Gordon, Edward, and James. James had been brought, and you had lost all of your memory. You're telling the story, not me. Bloody hell, he isn't getting it. There was also a tank engine. 9214. Pushed into the sea. Thank you very much. Thank you for Dylan Productions for letting me take part in this. I'll be happy to do any more roles. Have a lovely day, and don't forget to break van on your way out.